Hey guys, Jim here with another video for you. This is When Animals Attack. Lions, gators, and bears. Oh my! But before we begin, at the end of this video, if you like what you see, please consider giving me a thumbs up, a possible subscribe. But most importantly, please leave comments below. Let me know how you feel about these films. Give me some of your favorite animal films. And by that, what this video is about is I did some drive-in videos lately, and I said that I had a lot of Jaws ripoffs. But that kind of led me into another rabbit hole. Instead of Jaws ripoffs, I was thinking there's been an awful lot of movies through the years that are based on when nature goes against us as far as animals go. I don't mean the disaster movies like Earthquake or Day After Tomorrow. I just mean basically what the title implies, when animals attack people in movies. And Jaws, of course, was not the first in that genre. The 50s and 60s are filled with mainly science fiction or horror movies like Day of the Animals and Tarantula, Them, a bunch of them. Goofy stuff, Day of the Triffids, where Night of the Lupus, with killer bunny rabbits. I mean, it goes on and on and on. But Jaws basically perfected the genre. And it inspired a whole slew of rip-off type movies. But like I said, it also led me down a rabbit hole of other movies in my collection where it's just man versus nature or man versus animals, more in particular. So Jaws, of course, is the first movie that I'm going to be talking about here. 1975, Steven Spielberg classic. And yeah, everybody knows Jaws. Everybody loves Jaws. Deservedly so. It's one of the greatest movies of all time. But since we're talking about sharks, how can we not go to the sequel, Jaws 2, which again is a very good movie. It's not a great movie like Jaws is. It's not a masterpiece, but it's a lot of fun. And it's a slasher movie where the shark is the slasher. But you could do a lot worse than watching Jaws 2. I don't own any of the other sequels. Enough said. But if we're talking about sharks, and there's been lots of shark movies through the years, but one of my favorites that doesn't have Jaws in the title is Deep Blue Sea. This is a crazy-ass movie with Thomas Jane and Samuel L. Jackson, directed by Rennie Harlin. This movie's a lot of fun. I mean, it's dumb, but it's a lot of fun. And instead of, we're sticking to the water creatures here. One of my favorite Jaws ripoffs from the 70s, Orca. I know it says Orca the Killer Whale here, which is normally what I say when I'm introducing this movie, but the real title is just Orca. And the stars Richard Harris, Will Sampson, Charlotte Rampling, and Bo Derek in her movie debut. Also has a score by Ennio Morricone, which is quite amazing in itself, but I love this movie. It's a Jaws ripoff, but again, killer whale against man. And another Jaws ripoff having to do with sea creatures. Joe Dante's B-movie classic, Piranha, from the Corman Factory. I love Piranha. It's such a fun movie. And yeah, it's been remade. There's been sequels. James Cameron's movie directorial debut was Piranha 2, The Spawning, even though he got his name taken off of it because he got canned halfway through post-production. But Piranha's a great movie. It is so much fun. Okay, now we're getting away from the fishies. This one, from that same collection that Deep Blue Sea came in, Samuel L. Jackson collection. How about the fun goofiness that is snakes on a plane? Ridiculous movie. Totally ridiculous movie. Started as a joke on the internet where they asked Samuel L. Jackson, to say, get these MF snakes off this MF plane, and it kind of took off, and they made a movie out of it. And again, ridiculous movie, but a lot of fun. How about Bug, the killer cockroach movie from the mid-70s? This is like a William Castle movie. It's not very good, but it's also directed by the guy who did Jaws 2. And yeah, I said it's like a William Castle movie because William Castle actually produced it, and I believe he was involved with the script. But yeah, this is not a good movie. But again, insects. A good movie for this certain class of animal attack movies would be Arachnophobia or Eight-Legged Freaks. I don't own either. And of course, we have to talk about man's best friend, the dog, with Cujo. Again, there's lots of doggy attack movies, but to me, Cujo is the best. I remember as a child seeing the movie Dogs with David McCallum. If anybody remembers that movie, I remember thinking it was terrifying. And then I dug that movie up years later on a DVD that I spent $50 for on eBay. Watched it and threw it out. That movie is a piece of shit. Okay, how about this one for a crazy animal attack movie? Razorback from 1984. This one is a giant wild pig, boar creature in the Australian outback. And again, ridiculous movie. However, a lot of fun if you're in the right state of mind. This one was directed by Russell Mulcahy, who would go on to direct Highlander. Now we've got a couple related films. How about Alligator from 1980? I love this movie. Directed by Louis Teague, who also directed Cujo. And yeah, Robert Forster's in this, and Henry Silva, of course. I love this movie. I absolutely love this movie. I saw it when I was a child in the theater, and again, I will always love Alligator. We're talking about alligators. We got to talk about Killer Crocs in Lake Placid. This one is, again, a lot of fun, directed by Steve Miner and starring Bill Pullman and the wonderful late, great Betty White. Again, a lot of fun. Makes a great double feature with Alligator, actually. And then we've got The Ghost in the Darkness, starring Michael Douglas and Val Kilmer. This is based on a true story, and this is about lions that were attacking people while they were building the railroads in Africa. This is a really, really good movie. I just recently added this on DVD. I found it at a recent Goodwill haul. Eventually, I'm going to get this on Blu-ray. Scream Factory did a version of this that I heard was pretty good. So eventually, I will be upgrading this. This is a great movie if you've never seen it. Now we got a couple movies doing with wolves. Or I'm sorry, one doing with wolves. And that is Liam Neeson in The Grey. I love this movie. This is one of my favorite Liam Neeson films from the last 20 years, without a doubt. And Frank Grillo is also in this, directed by Joe Carnahan. Absolutely intense movie. It is wonderful. I love The Grey. Now we got some bears. We got lots of bears. So we're going to start off with the best one of the bunch. Oh, I'm sorry. I screwed up. I knew I had a couple of wolf movies. The other one I just had it in the wrong order. Wolfen. This one got lumped in with the werewolf movies of 1981. American Werewolf in London and The Howling. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. This is not a werewolf movie. It deals with wolves in a city landscape. Great movie. Absolutely great movie. If I hate remakes, this one is ripe for a remake, especially with the inner cities the way that they are now. This would make a fantastic reboot if they did it correctly. Okay, now we're back to the bears. I'm sorry about that. We're going to start off with definitely the best of the bunch, The Revenant, starring Leonardo DiCaprio and Tom Hardy, among many others, and directed by, and I can never get his name right, Alejandro Inarritu. I get the Alejandro part right, but Both of these guys were nominated for Oscars. DiCaprio won an Oscar. This movie almost killed both of them. And the scene with the bear, even though, it's obviously a CG bear, it's crazy. I love this movie. It is so good. And then we go 180 degrees different for the rest of the bear movies. But we're going to start off with my favorite of the bunch, Grizzly. This is definitely a Jaws ripoff, 1976. I saw this at the drive-in when I was 9 years old. It was the highest grossing independent film before Halloween came out. This movie was a smash hit in 1976. And it is absolutely ridiculous. And I absolutely love it. And then we've got Prophecy, the mutant bear movie from 1979, starring Robert Foxworth, Talia Shire, and Armand Assante, in a really bad casting choice. Although I love Armand Assante, directed by John Frankenheimer. This movie is ridiculously bad. I mean, it is so bad. There is one moment in this movie that's great, where a kid in a sleeping bag gets taken out, and I still can't believe they did it to this day. But other than that, this movie's a piece of shit, but it's a lot of fun. But we're going to end on this one. Cocaine Bear. Directed by Elizabeth Banks and starring Kerry Russell and the late, great Ray Liotta. I love this movie. It is so stupid. It is ridiculously stupid. Loosely, and I mean very loosely, based on true events, but it's definitely not a true story. But this movie is exactly what the title implies. Cocaine Bear. You see a bear whacked out on cocaine and going on a rampage. And again, check your brain at the door, like the majority of these films. Strap yourself in, have a good time, and watch animals attack. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, a possible subscribe. Most importantly, leave comments below. Please let me know how you feel about these films. Let me know what some of your favorite films in this genre would be. And until the next time, we'll see you then.